Alright guys, I finally did it. I bought used RAM. With new RAM prices being absolutely insane right now and my need for an upgrade getting urgent, looking at the used market became the only logical choice to keep the budget in check. So today I want to share my experience buying used RAM because honestly, I learned a lot of lessons during this process and I think it will be useful for you too. I'm upgrading my Geekom A5 mini PC. It supports up to 64 gigs of DDR4 3200 MHz, but it came with just 16 gigs out of the box. This is my main work machine. Now I run KCOS, a very fast Linux distro combined with ZRAM. For basic tasks, 16 gigs is fine, but my workflow has a bottleneck. I often open multiple project files to copy paste clips between them with 16 gigs. If I open 2 or 3 projects, the system run out of memory and the kernel kills one of the apps. It's not seamless, so I decided to grab some used RAM to bump this up to 32 gigabytes of RAM and document the journey for you guys. I have to be honest, the only advantage of buying used RAM right now is only the price. I bought 2 sticks of 16GB DDR4 SODIMM 3200 MHz for about $45 each. Compared to new prices right now, I save about $130 total on this 32GB upgrade. But is it safe? Technically, yes. RAM is a solid state. It has no moving mechanical parts like a hard drive, and it doesn't have write cycle limits like an SSD. DRAM is volatile and non-destructive. In hardware engineering, there is bathtub curve. Basically, if RAM is going to fail, it usually fails immediately due to manufacturing defects. So a used stick that has been running for years has basically passed natural selection. It's a survivor. But there's still some risks. Static electricity damage from the previous owner, shipping damage, or as I experienced it, compatibility issues. I bought RAM called AOS NKA. Never heard of it, me neither. But physically, they look brand new, so I took the gamble. When they arrived, they look like new, but when I installed boot, the system wouldn't boot. These AOS NKA sticks use high-density chips that only on one side. My system struggled with that. I contacted the seller and they were amazing. They let me return the unstable stick. They replaced it with a different brand called Neo Forza. Now this Neo Forza stick looks used. It wasn't pretty, but it used low-density chips on both sides on the stick. Usually these have better compatibility, and sure enough, when I mix the Neo Forza in the top slot and the AOS NKE in the bottom slot, boom, detected instantly, no drama. I run benchmark immediately, everything is stable. I run memtest 86 plus and it passed with 0 errors. The bandwidth hit 33.7 GB per second, which confirm they are running in dual channel mode. So even though I'm mixing brands and mixing chip densities, they are running happily together at standard JEDEC timing in CL22. I do have one small regret. I noticed later that the price differences between these Tier 3 brands and Tier 1 brands like Samsung, Crucial or Kingston in the used market is very small. Maybe only $5 or $10. If I could do it again, I'd just buy the Tier 1 brand for better compatibility. But hey, lessons learned. As long as it passed the stress test, I'm happy. So did the upgrade actually help? The difference is massive. Before, on 16 gigs, the system was generally smooth on KCOS, but the moment I opened 2 or 3 Kdenlive projects, the Linux kernel would kill the application to save memory. Since upgrading to 32 gigs, that bottleneck is gone. I can casually open 3 projects at a time, jump between them, and copy-paste clip without any lag. And because I have so much headroom now, I went into the BIOS and increased the GPU VRAM allocation. I bumped it from 512 megabytes all the way up to 4 gigabytes. Even after giving 4 gigabytes to GPU, I still have 27.3 gigabytes left for the system. That extra VRAM made a huge difference in my editing workflow. Timeline previews, especially when I have multi-layer clips, are much smoother now and the render times have improved. Also, the ZRAM capacity scaled up automatically with the new memory. This means the system almost never run out of compressed swap space even under heavy multitasking. So if you're planning to hunt for used RAM, there are some critical lessons I learned. First, mindset. Ask yourself, do you actually need this? If you can wait until prices likely normalize in 2028, just wait. But if you do buy now, buying used is the smart play. You can save up to 50% of your budget for the exact same performance. Second, choosing the right RAM. Don't just look at the price. Make sure you match the DDR generation, voltage, and speed your motherboard supports. And honestly, stick to Tier 1 brands. Look for Samsung, Crucial, or Kingston. In the used market, the price gap between top tier brand and the generic one is negligible. Third, don't just buy looks. This was my mistakes. I bought the shiny, new-looking stick and it had compatibility issues. I end up with an ugly, worn-looking stick that worked perfectly. In the used market, function beats aesthetic every time. Fourth, the testing protocol. This is non-negotiable. As soon as the package arrives, check physical condition. Look for missing capacitors or deep scratch. If the gold pins looks dirty, gently clean them with a pencil eraser before installing. Do some bias check. Make sure the system detects the full capacity and correct speed. Do stress test. Run a heavy workload. Better yet, run memtest 86+. If you see even one single error, return it immediately. There is no compromise with RAM errors. Then do some bandwidth check. Ensure you are getting full dual channel speed. And finally, the golden rule of mixing RAM. Ideally, you buy a matching kit. If you cannot, try to get same brand and model. But if you absolutely have to mix and match like I did, you need to be careful. You must match the capacity, the voltage, and the cache latency or CL. And remember, mixed RAM usually won't run at XMP overclock speed. It will likely default to the standard JEDEC speed, which is fine for stability, but it's something you need to be aware of. So that is my journey. My mini PC now is running a Frankenstein mix of used RAM that saves me $130, but it's stable, fast, and handles my workflow perfectly. I'm Fabian. I will see you in the next video.